వయసుతో సంబంధం లేకుండా ఆందోళన కలిగిస్తున్న అనారోగ్య సమస్యలను నివారించే ఏకైక సూపర్ ఫుడ్ చిరుధాన్యాలే అని పద్మశ్రీ పురస్కార గ్రహీత ఆహార ఆరోగ్య నిపుణులు కృషిరత్న డాక్టర్ ఖాదర్వలి తెలిపారు. మిల్లెట్స్ లో సంపూర్ణ పోషకాలు ఉన్నాయని స్పష్టం చేశారు. గుంటూరులోని కేఎల్ యూనివర్సిటీలో మిల్లెట్ ఫ్యూచర్ ఫుడ్ అనే అంశంపై 2023 మార్చి 27న జరిగిన సదస్సులో ఆయన పాల్గొన్నారు. కేఎల్ యూనివర్సిటీ ఆధ్వర్యంలో రైతునేస్తం ఫౌండేషన్ సహకారంతో జరిగిన ఈ కార్యక్రమంలో ఆరోగ్య సంరక్షణపై ఖాదర్వలి అవగాహన కల్పించారు. కేఎల్ యూనివర్సిటీ ప్రతినిధులు, రైతునేస్తం ఫౌండేషన్ చైర్మన్ ఎడ్లపల్లి వెంకటేశ్వరరావు తదితరులు కార్యక్రమంలో పాల్గొన్నారు.
పద్మశ్రీ వెంకటేశ్వరరావు గారు, పద్మశ్రీ డాక్టర్ ఖాదర్వల్లి గారు, all heads of the department, all the students. It's indeed a great pleasure for me because I am meeting Kadharvalli after almost 20 years. Because we were together, in CFTR, we are very close friends. I know him, where he has made a big change, not only in the society, but also in his career. He started like a scientist, he's one of the top leading chemists actually. So he did a lot of work both in India, in Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and then he moved to US and he was in DuPont company. Then he came back to CFTRI and then he himself revolutionized into a different model set. So it took 25 years of journey to create millet as the key diet for health. His philosophy is always, why people should suffer, why people cannot be healthy. So what makes to understand to be healthy is very important because it's a prevention. If you are healthy, you don't need to go to a doctor. So that's where, the perception of human health has come into picture. He always believed, as a scientist, as also an innovator, Kadharvalli mind thinking is completely different. He always wants to discover things. See, science is something, people do something, we can work out and, institutional policies. But, someone who discover, who has to identify new thinking. It took for him 25 years. Today, he has reached a Padmasri, He is from a common family, struggled in his life, reached to this level is a real, appreciation for the country. We all should feel proud. A scientist transformed into a discoverer, helping the society to be healthy and then be health all the time and make you to understand many things in nutrition. Nutrition is the main part for the human health. So that is the discovery he has made, and he is not only doing but he is also going around the country. See, Punjab, for example, I was just discussing with him briefly. For example, in Punjab people only eat wheat. Most of the North Indian, system. Now he is making them to understand the importance of millets even in Punjab. His dream is to keep the community healthy. With these words, I really welcome Dr. KhaderVali sir because it's for me it's a surprise. Because when he was coming, I know that I am here. Then I immediately communicated to him. So he mistook Jagannath Mishra, he's here. So he was thinking, who is this person? So when we saw each other, it became a pleasure. And God always bless him. His mother blessings are very crucial for his success. And then we all wish you, sir, to lead the country to a healthy system and make India as a remarkable healthy system by nutrition. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for letting us know, and we are sure that this will be a great knowing for us to move forward in our lives too. Now I request the Director of Agriculture, Dr. K. Ratnaprasad, sir, to address the gathering.
Today, really, it is the very pleasant day having two eminent personalities from elsewhere who have come all the way to enlighten our students about the importance of millets in keeping up our health. See, one man, Dr. Khader Garu, is keep on talking about the health maintenance of humans. And the another man, Dr. Venkateswarrao Garu, both are Padmasris. Venkateswarrao Garu always talks about eco-friendly cultivation and environmentally safe cultivation. Both have a lot of concern for nature and also the human beings. You know, in food chain, we invariably talk that any pollution, it starts from soil, and then soil to plant, plant to animal, and animal to human. What we say, you know, because humans are wise enough, so they stop somewhere. It should not reach the human, because we think that in the nature, the ultimate beneficiary is always human beings, not animals, not soil, because soil is, we think that it is a non-living body. But now, being students of this university, everybody might have felt or understood that soil is a living body, because it embraces billions of organisms which do lot of work in keeping up the soil health. So now our responsibility is to keep up the soil health, so that it will keep up our health. And millets are the ones, because you know, we have so many cereal crops which are being grown in lakhs of hectares and feeding our Indian population without any secondary thought. There is a glut in production, and I don't think anybody is starving in India. Those people who are very negligent of everything and ignorant of everything in the society, they may be deprived of minimum food, but all others are very comfortable because of the scientific achievements in production technologies in different crops. And when it comes to millets, to the best of my knowledge, they are being grown in rain-fed areas, because in the rain-fed areas, you know, everything is left to nature. Everything is left to nature. If it rains, it comes up well. It doesn't carry any poison, any unwanted thing. So definitely anything, you know, if any plant in our house compound, now people will be talking about kitchen gardening and all. Anything whichever comes on its own from the soil, you know, it will be definitely good without any type of unwanted residues. So anyway, soil has enormous capacity to denaturate many unwanted things, but it doesn't mean that it has infinite capacity. It has finite capacity, because we all think and we all know that the soil is graveyard for everything. That doesn't mean that just because it is allowing the child to play in her lap, we should not exploit it. We can utilize it or overutilize it, but it should not exploit it. That is what being done now by many of the farmers, not having any malified intention, but definitely because of the ignorance. So now, being educated in KLEF, it is our responsibility to educate the farmers and everyone in the society to keep the soil health, and so that human health will be preserved. And these two eminent personalities who are going to deliver their lecture today, or who are going to enlighten with the knowledge, or who are going to share their knowledge with us, and it is our promise to support them, to be with them, to achieve the ultimate goal of nature security, preserving the nature. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Padma Shri Dr. Venkateswar Rao Garu to address the gathering.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం. ఈ మిల్లెట్స్ మీద పరిశోధన చేయటం, వీటిని అంతర్జాతీయ స్థాయికి, అంటే మన తెలుగు ప్రాంత ప్రజలే కాదు, నార్త్ ఇండియాలో కావచ్చు, ఇతర దేశాల్లో కూడా విస్తృతంగా ఈ మిల్లెట్స్కి బహుళ ప్రచారం గావించిన డాక్టర్ ఖాదర్వలి గారు చేశారు. కాబట్టే ఈరోజు కేంద్ర ప్రభుత్వం యుఎన్ఏని సంప్రదించి యుఎన్ఏ చేత మిల్లెట్ ఆఫ్ ది ఇయర్గా ప్రకటింపజేయడానికి ముఖ్య కారకులు ఖాదర్వలి గారు. అందుకనే నేను ఖాదర్వలి గారి పేరు చెప్పింది. ఎందుకంటే ఈ సందర్భంగా మన మోదీ గారికి కూడా, ప్రధానమంత్రి వారికి కూడా ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియాలి. అదే కాకుండా పండించిన పంటకి పెద్ద పెద్ద యంత్రాలు లేకుండా కేవలం ఒక చిన్న మిక్సీతోటే ప్రాసెసింగ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు అని నిరూపించిన వాళ్ళు డాక్టర్ ఖాదర్వలి గారు. ఎందుకంటే దాదాపు 2 lakhs రూపీస్ తోటి మనం ఈ మిల్లెట్స్ అనేది ప్రాసెసింగ్ చేసుకోవాలి. దానికి దాదాపు 7 layers 5 layers అట్లా లేయర్స్ ఉంటాయి ఈ మిల్లెట్స్లో. ఆ లేయర్స్ని ప్రాసెసింగ్ చేసుకోవడానికి ఎంతో కష్టపడాలి. ఒక 2 lakhs 2.5 lakhs మిషనరీకి పర్చేజ్ చేయాల్సి వస్తుంది. అది అవసరం లేకుండా కేవలం చిన్న మిక్సీతోటే మనం ప్రాసెసింగ్ చేసుకోవచ్చని దాన్ని ప్రచారంలో తీసుకొచ్చి ఈరోజు మహిళలందరికీ కూడా ఆరాధ్య దేవుడే వారు మాట ఖాదర్వలి గారు. ఎందుకంటే ఒక చిన్న ఉపాధి హామీ పథకంగా, అంటే మన ఇంట్లోనే ఓన్గా ప్రాసెసింగ్ చేసుకొని తన ఇంట్లో తన తిండి తినడమే కాదు, వాటిని అమ్ముకోవడం, మిల్లెట్స్ బిస్కెట్ తయారు చేసుకోవడం, వీటన్నిటిని కూడా ఒక చిన్న మిక్సీలోనే చేసుకోవడానికి వారు ఈ విధంగా ప్రచారం చేయడం జరిగింది. మన పిల్లలు కానీ లేదంటే ఫ్యూచర్లో కానీ మంచి ఆరోగ్యంగా ఉంటే మనం ఏదైనా చేయొచ్చు. ఆరోగ్యంగా లేకపోతే మనం ఏం చేస్తాం? ఏం చేయలేం. అందువల్ల దయచేసి మీరందరూ కూడా ఈ మిల్లెట్స్ని మీరు ఎంకరేజ్ చేయండి. మీ నోట్లోంచి ప్రతి మాట మిల్లెట్గా రావాలి. ఎందుకంటే మీరు తినే ఫుడ్ ఏ పదార్థమైనా కావచ్చు. మిల్లెట్స్ తోటి అంబలు చేసుకోవచ్చు, మిల్లెట్స్ తోటి మురుకులు చేసుకోవచ్చు, మిల్లెట్స్ తోటి లడ్డులు చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి ఇన్వైట్ చేసిన మీ అందరూ కూడా ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేసుకుంటూ సెలవు తీసుకుంటాను. జై కిసాన్, జై జవాన్.
Now I request Padma Shri awardee Dr. KhaderVali sir onto the dais and to address the gather.
Today is one of my lucky days. Whenever I get to meet young people, I consider that to be my lucky day. That's my definition of luck. Do you know there are no young people in other parts of the world? Only India has got 40 crores of young people. Not just 40 crores of young people, functionally okay young people. Do you know the reason? Can someone think of why this is the case? India is the only country which has got more than 50% of their population as approximately below 35 years of age. Why other countries do not have this luxury? Italians, there are no more Italians. Italy is gone. There are no Italians because the growth rate is minus 2.1. Japanese, they have robots. Chinese, there are no kids born. Germany, average age is 53. Do you know why this is the case? America, forget about it. The most horrible place that you can think of. There is no health at all. Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, cancer, you name it, it is there. Now, can someone think of the reason why it is so? So to answer this question, you need to understand a lot of things, not one system. Because life happens on this planet as a whole, not Department of Agriculture, Department of Biotechnology, Department of Computers, Department of MBA. All these systems are divided because we can organize ourselves. And our minds are small, we can only do this much. I'm talking not our mind, not my mind, your mind. Whole human race mind itself is very small in front of nature. We are trying to understand the system, such big system as nature, into departments and compartments. So our knowledge accruing itself is departmentalized and compartmentalized. And that's why we are creating problems. We will not have food after 25 years. And that is the main reason why Pradhana Mantri Narendra Modi ji declared millets as the future food. This I have been telling for the last 35 years. Modi recognized in the last 3-4 years. Rather, our central government recognized. And it is to his credit and his vision we all need to appreciate and thank him, because the words that I was using, superfood, future food, has been made in a larger platform because of the efforts of Pradhana Mantri Narendra Modi. Scientifically, we are not going to be in a position to grow rice and wheat if another 1 degree centigrade increases. Already the world, please listen to this carefully, this is very important for you young people. I am not talking about you not having sperm count. I am not talking about women having PCOD. I am not talking about the girls and boys not able to meet and produce kids, and that's what has happened all over the world. And in India is also following the same path because of not having the right food. We have had the times where there was no food, and that situation arose because the Western thought process, the Western experts created fertilizers from the bomb material. The reason why I am pitching the food as the most important thing, because now the world doesn't have food to eat in another 20 years, because the yields of rice and wheat have already come down by 23% in the planet as a whole. and wheat especially is going to disappear in another 5 to 10 years because the temperature, the restricted, small, limited zone that the wheat can grow. If you increase another degree centigrade, almost 90% yields of wheat will come down. So whatever you are eating, wheat is bad is a different issue. I will let you know in another 5-10 minutes. But why did we choose rice and wheat as food? The whole human race is eating rice and wheat, which is the most unscientific thing that has happened on this planet in the last 75 to 100 years. The reason is very simple. It is the bomb materials after the World War left, leaked, and then the C3 grasses, that is Oryza sativa and Triticum vulgare. If you are all aware of what I am talking. What is Oryza sativa? Paddy rice. And this is the problem with the young generation. It is to be recognized as paddy rice. Rice is a group of grains. Kodo rice, foxtail millet rice, barnyard millet rice. Rice is something that has a husk and you need to remove the husk to eat the grain. Whereas wheat, you don't need to remove the husk. Finger millet, you don't need to remove the husk. So the wheat, you don't make rice. You cannot cook and eat as rice. Whereas kodo millet, you remove the husk and you can cook as rice. Paddy rice, Oryza sativa, you have to remove the husk, dehusk. Without dehusking, you cannot eat rice. So now when we say rice, all over the world people get into their head and focus paddy rice. But we should be telling it is paddy rice, not just rice. Rice is a group of grains where you need to remove the husk to eat. So kodo millet, barnyard millet, brown top millet, little millet, foxtail millet. These are the 5 grains, and there is one more millet called proso millet. You have to remove the husk to eat the grain. Whereas jowar, that is sorghum, corn and ragi and bajra. Bajra is pearl millet. These grains you don't need to remove the husk. You can just make powder, make rava or broken, then you can cook and eat. This is the difference in the grains. Rice and wheat. Now the moment I say rice, the whole structure, the brain of the human race goes to that paddy rice. And this is the mistake that has happened because all the remaining grains have been systematically removed by these food corporate companies who have chosen rice, wheat as their main product because these are C3 grasses. Now coming to the real science of what is C3 grass, what is C4 grass. Does anyone know? There are agriculturists, food technologists, biotechnology. What is the difference between C3 and C4 grasses? I am not talking to common people. I am talking to the so-called cream of the university. Biotechnology, food technology, agriculture, pharmacy. What is C4 grass and what is C3 grass? This is the most important difference in fixing the glucose in a plant. If the plant chooses to fix carbon dioxide onto a C3 unit called pyruvic acid and then build the glucose while the photosynthesis takes place, that is called C3 photosynthesis. C4 photosynthesis is the first product it chooses to begin is oxaloacetic acid, C4 unit. So from C3 to C4, the genetic code has short circuited. It doesn't start at C3 3, it goes to C4 directly. And sadly, C3 to C4, all the photosynthesis in the world, 95% of it happens in C3. That means the mango tree, the rice, the wheat, and many plants that you see, 95% of the green grass, green things that you see does fix carbon dioxide into glucose through C3 photosynthesis. The remaining 5% is C4 grasses. But funnily, it is the C4 grasses that occupy most of the planet. Anywhere and everywhere, without water, just absorbing water directly from the atmosphere, they can grow. That's why they are called C4 grasses. They can grow from 10 degrees to 50 degrees centigrade, and that it is almost boundless. There is no limit for these grasses to grow anywhere, anytime, whether summer or winter. In fact, you see, even in summer, near an electric pole, around that you will see grass. Just the water, the dew drops coming and accumulating is good enough for the grass to grow, and that is C4 grass. In fact, in olden days, garika, where do you use that? Where do you use it? Vinayak. It's called Swayambho. That means it grows by itself. And have you seen its seeds? And that's why they are called Chudra Dhanya. That means which you cannot see. There are 6,800 varieties of these C4 grasses on this planet, out of which 4,800 and odd grasses you do not see the seeds. They are so small. And out of that, 230 varieties of actually called millets. Milli, M-I-L-L-I, means what? Small. Meter, centimeter, millimeter. And in fact, it is the millimeter is the limit of our eyes can see. If you make half millimeter, your eyes start bungling. You don't know what is there, what is not. That's why the limit of our eyes is milli. You cannot have letters smaller than millimeter and you still think you cannot read. You cannot read. That's why it's called sushma. Milli. So that measurement is milli. That's why they are called millets. And the biggest millet is great millet. That is jowar. Jonalu. I mean big. Very big. That's why they are called major millets. That you can see clearly. Ragi, jola, sajjalu, varigalu. Ivi major millets. Then you have minor millets. If you go around the world and then look at these grains, there have been 200 varieties, out of which only 8 to 10 are left on this planet right now. And if I were not to come back in 1997, people would have forgotten about all this stuff. And why did I do that? Because these are the grains that can grow from 10 degrees to 50 degrees centigrade. So now you see there are major millets, minor millets. Minor millets are smaller. In our language, Telugulo, Kannadamlo, akkadanta ela cheptarante chirudhanyalu, kirudhanyalu, trunadhanyalu, క్షుద్రధాన్యాలు. మన పురాణాల్లో పుస్తకాల్లో పారంపరికంగా వీళ్ళని ఈ రకంగా వర్ణించారు. సో when you see the food history of the human race, we have been little slower in adopting the foreign food culture. And that's why we are still left with some 40 crores of young functional kids like you. Did you get the answer now? I had to tell you so much, almost 45 minutes, for the reality that has happened in the last 75 years. So now, if you now start importing their food and their culture, which is already happening according to me, because nowadays I see in Bangalore, 7th grade girl is ordering pizza on her smartphone. In Bangalore, 95 lakhs Zomato Swiggy orders per day is the order of the day. You see, you have the answers for why women have PCOD, why men have sperm count loss, and why there are no kids born in Italy and the Germany's age is average 58. I am trying to answer all the questions in one point. That's because we have chosen our food wrong in the last 75 years at the behest of these food corporate companies. We didn't ask question when they said green revolution, we are giving you food security. In fact, they are doing the other way around. There is no food security because they are not providing us food at all. They are providing actually slow poison. This is a slow poison we are eating. Because you are not going to be able to produce kids at all. And the first character of a live thing on this planet is to regenerate, reproduce next generation. And that is the definition of a living thing. It's not just taking breath in and breath out. A living thing produces its progeny, and that is how you define a living thing. It's not just living. You need to live the next generation. Are you understanding? Are you with me? So, the wrong choice of the food is the reason why we have all these problems in the world. Your PCOD, the food security, the global warming. Why global warming? Because we have chosen rice and wheat, providing 8,000 liters per kilo. Where do you get? Mine the lands, dig the whole planet up and down, build big dams, block the waters. The water cycle is not completed. Unless the rivers meet the ocean, the PMF is not created. You know what is PMF? EMF is electron motive force. PMF is proton motive force. When the rivers meet the ocean, the salt, 3.5 to 3.8% salt, comes running to meet this sweet water. Because the cations, the concentration is high. So this sweet water doesn't have that much salt, so the sodium runs, and that is PMF. The cations are moving. So eventually EMF has to be met with PMF, and that PMF is our lignons, the fiber in the grains, the moving electrons stabilizing the radicals, and that's how you eliminate the disease completely. So health is not just nutrition, it is to clean up the toxic morbid waste then and there. In fact, we have cleaned up gangrene patients like this. Tomorrow you have to cut your leg because it is infected with all kinds of pathogenic microbes. Even then we can save in a matter of 6 weeks, because the real microbes that protect you in the guts can grow on these fibers, this wonderful fiber. So food for future, if you want to be healthy, just eating and becoming sick doesn't define food. Am I right? Now, am I trying to communicate the definition of food to you guys? Are you understanding what food should be? Food is something that gives you nutrition and try to make energy out of the glucose that we provide to the mitochondria. At the same time, not produce this toxic morbid waste which actually is generated in the form of EMF and transforms itself into different diseases. So there is no cancer, there is no diabetes, there is no PCOD, there is no fibroid, there is no brain tumor, there is no blood cancer. All these are names and forms. What is the disease? It is that EMF. If that accumulates and disturbs your brain, it is brain problem. If it disturbs your bone marrow, it is your blood problem. If it disturbs your lungs, it is your lungs problem. You name it. So the disease is the same. It's only forms and names that these experts are blabbering without understanding the origin of the disease. And how do you understand the origin of the disease? If you understand what food is, you understand what is the origin of the disease. Are you understanding? Don't eat rice, wheat, sugar. All these are going to give you old age soon. In fact, it's a fact that young, so-called young in quotes, are not able to walk, are not able to do things that even a 60, 70-year-old person who eats millets can do. Am I making sense? Have I communicated that the food has to be defined scientifically? So all your technologies have to be directed towards making the food right and the food processing right. So now I will mix everything. Kodo is good, foxtail is good, this is good, so I will mix everything and multi-grain. All these multi fellows are foreign minds. Everything you mix. But the nature doesn't work like that. If that is the case, there should have been nothing other than one thing on this, one plant, and that's it, go. But biodiversity, that means each place, each area, each weather, different things. And that's how kodo chawal, kodo rice, cleans your bone marrow and blood. Foxtail millet fiber cleans. That PMF has to be matching the fiber, the lignons work the EMF of your lungs and nerves. And the little millet can clean up your genital organs. That means in boys, the testicles and the adrenal systems, in girls, the ovum, the cystic, so-called PCOD, all these things will disappear in a matter of 3 months if you eat more of little millet. Because the fiber is designed exactly PMF. The EMF generated in your genital organs, whether it is due to hormonal imbalance or whatever reasons, the EMF can be mopped up, can be cleaned up on a daily basis if you eat little millet. And if you eat barnyard millet, it will clean up all the toxic morbid waste generated in your soft parts. That is your liver, your kidney, your spleen, all endocrine systems. So, if you combine barnyard and little, most of these genital problems are solved. So, this is how we created protocols. We have got PDF, that Khadar lifestyle. You can go, or sirijagattu.org. You can download all this information. For which disease, which millets. You have to eat separately. Why? Because if you mix, no organ gets cleaned up properly. Because there is not enough PMF matching that particular organ to clean up. So if you eat kodo millet, your blood related EMF is cleaned up in a matter of 2-3 meals or 6 meals. So you eat kodo millet 2 days, foxtail millet 2 days, little millet 2 days. Like this, if you space it out, in a cycle of 10 days, you have cleaned up all your parts. You understand the logic? So don't mix. For all these fellows, always gadabad, radbad, names. You eat fruits, all mix up. You eat chocolate, you eat rice, you eat this, you put and you do nothing. You are confusing your systems, isn't it? So there has to be science behind what you do. In fact, most of our cooking methods are very scientific, the olden methods. Like when you heat oil, you generate free radicals because of the saturated, unsaturated bonds, cis becoming trans, trans becoming cis, some conjugated, unconjugated, you generate the EMF, the free radicals. To mop that, you have popping of the mustard, thiocyanamine, a thiol compound which just absorbs the free radical and then delivers itself to be released elsewhere. You see, this is the science of our cooking methods. Just like curcumin. Curcumin is a aromatic phenolic compound which can just take the free radical and stabilize itself in the aromatic ring. Like ginger, like piperine, that pepper, capsicum, capsaicin. So these are all things that work as catalytically to mop up they are called antioxidants. Many of the phytochemicals are antioxidants. So I have worked in drug design and all these systems. How do you discover a drug? So people target the particular diseased condition. What is the EMF? Calculate, get into the molecule that has got that particular PMF quality and then design the drug and deliver the drug. All this you are making money. You patent it, and this is the problem with this patenting culture. You create product and never cure the disease. You keep taking this, you can eat and generate the disease and then take this tablet. And that is the way we are working now. Are you understanding why things the way they are? So the technologies have to understand and promote the local production, local processing, local consumption. And this is the mantra to save the future of the planet. But right now what we are doing is managing the food systems are all centralized under these food corporates. So your technologies, your distribution, your management systems have to start thinking in a different dimension for a sustainable living models. I am trying to carpet everything into this. There is nothing like departmentalization. Let's learn things together. Interdepartmental, this multi word is not right. It is actually integration of these things that is very, very important. Integrating the right time, right junctions, and this should be the actually nature of institutions coming into the future generations. And I see the fact that we have 4 departments together working in this institution is actually the origin of such vision for the future. Institutions have to start thinking on a rather integrated. Multi-confused systems are not necessary. Multi-integrated at each and every stage so that we produce organic, holistic, sustainable living models. I have been doing the science of it from 1987. In fact, first time I went and met a small girl who was menstruating at the age of 6 in America. That's when I started thinking that there is something seriously wrong with the human race. How can we be looking at a small girl of age 6 menstruating and no scientists, no doctors asking any questions about it? So that's the first time I started looking at things, and the reason was the milk produced genetically modified IVF, steroid induced, hormone induced milk, which has disturbed the hormonal balance, and all your PCOD, emergencies, not having the right menstrual cycles, and more important, in America women shave more than men, and beauty parlors are order of the day, and the same thing is happening in all the other countries, and India is also now following the track, because the moment you see beauty parlors means things are going wrong. The moment you see IVF means things have gone seriously wrong. These are the indications. There is no need for beauty parlors for women. They are beautiful anyway. They are beautiful anyway. You don't need, if you correct your microbe and hormone and glucose balance, within 6 months, we have healed many women having mustache, shaving seriously, going to beauty parlors. Correct this food, you will end up being beautiful all your life. You don't need to visit again your beauty parlors. You don't need to go to IVF centers if your husbands have right sperm count and healthy sperm. So, if you are married and your husband doesn't have sperm count, please feed him little millet. Within 6 months he will be all right. So we have done this and made a protocol. The books are already there in Telugu. Outside you can take and see, and not necessary, you can go to raitunestham, you can actually download freely, and Dr. Khader Lifestyle you can download sirijagattu.org. There is another website, you have complete compendium, full book, 140 pages. It is in English and Telugu. It has to be translated, but Dr. Khader Lifestyle, that book is available in 10 languages of India. Hindi, English, Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Orissa, Punjabi, all these languages. You can download and distribute freely. There is no need copyright, copy left, nothing is there. You can freely distribute anywhere to anyone. Absolutely no issues, no legal issues. It is free for everyone. And all the science of it is incorporated. And we have seen tremendous results.
5 years, I think around 2018 onwards, I am using millets because of my mother-in-law, as she undergone bypass surgery. At that time she was with blood sugar levels of 500. To control the blood sugar levels to normal stage, at that time I used that foxtail millet for her diet. I found a strong change, not strong change, drastic change in the blood sugar levels within 15 days of period. From 500 to the blood sugar levels down to 150 within 15 days duration. From that time onwards, I am using millets, and she has undergone diabetic foot operation also after 2 years. At that time, when she undergone diabetic foot operation, parallelly 3 members also undergone the diabetic foot operation, but all they passed away. But she survived, and the diabetic foot also cured. But unfortunately, second leg also infected, so she passed away. From later also I didn't stop, and sir given so many making uses of decoctions. Kashayalu cheppevallu sir, YouTube videos lo. We used to follow those tips also. Tippatiga kashayam, parijatamaku kashayam, for gastric troubles, Kottimira kashayam. We used to use all those things, and now also we are following those, and daily at least one meal I take millets. I feel a little bit difference is there in my daily life.
2 years ago he was tested diabetic and his blood sugar levels were around 300. But now it came to 130. It is not only the millets, he also consumed wheat rava. So it doesn't, you said it is not that important in health.
No, it is very important you eat only millets, because eating wheat will always keep inflaming you and the EMF is always generated. So you want perfect health, you get out of, you can eat wheat and be alright because you are eating 90% of the time millets. But that doesn't mean you are disease free. You want to be disease free, eat millets and don't touch these high glycemic index grains at all. Yeah, see, everyone is eating wheat and rice and you still think you are okay, but everyone is getting sick sometime or the other. If nothing else, your sperms are not there. You seem to be alright. You have bald head, you can paint your head and then say, I will get married somehow. This is what is happening, isn't it? And after that you find you are not able to produce kids, then you are looking for IVF centers. We still think we are doing okay.
ఈ వీడియో మీకు నచ్చితే లైక్ చేయండి, ఇతరులకు షేర్ చేయండి. వీడియోపై మీ అభిప్రాయాన్ని కామెంట్ రూపంలో తెలపండి. మరిన్ని వ్యవసాయ వీడియోల కోసం రైతు నేస్తం యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్ ని సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేయండి. పక్కనే ఉన్న గంట సింబల్ నొక్కి నోటిఫికేషన్స్ ద్వారా తాజా వీడియోల సమాచారం పొందండి.